I just live. I don't think about the future
Why?
because the future isn't real. We make it way more important than it needs to be. I didn't want to live anymore. I would intentionally try to induce a heart attack. A huge part of anxiety is this constant pressure to be something. You might be comparing yourself to someone that's a bigger wreck than you are, and they just wear their mask better than you. The ultimate power is to have all this shit going on around you and you're unbothered.
What's up, guys? Brian Briskey is someone who ended 45 years of suffering from anxiety and OCD. In this conversation, he explains why we suffer when we fight the way we feel, the importance of living in the present moment, and the simple insight that changed his life forever, that you are not your thoughts or feelings, you are the one observing them. I hope you enjoy, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Brian Briskey at Winning Within. Thank you, Brian, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So right before we started recording, we were talking about, well, you were talking about a mass awakening. I'd love to hear more about that.
Oh, the mass awakening. Well, we kind of touched on kind of what you were wanting to do with your work and the things that you're trying to do. And I kind of started to go off on a tear about collective consciousness, and I think that is happening. I think that people are waking up and like seeing that just about every single thing in our life and everything that we've ever been told is just wrong. And it's just kind of become like a tool of oppression to keep people suffering and keep people desperate, so they'll do whatever needs to be done in the vein of consumerism. Is that is that too much? I don't know. Is that cynical enough for you this morning? First thing in the morning, or else it's in the evening for you? But yeah, first thing in the morning. These are the things I think about when I drink my coffee.
Nice. Well, we like to keep it real here at Winning Within. So
Yeah, I mean, I've been on this, I've been on this path for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years now, and the more awareness I gain, and the more I am an observer of everything, uh, it just the subtle manipulation of everything that we hear and everything that we consume is just it. There's an angle to every single thing, every bit of it. You can't just like strawberries. Well, you should probably like organic strawberries. And then you should probably like these strawberries that are a little bit redder and a little bit bigger than these other strawberries. And then if you're going to like strawberries, you should probably top them with this delicious cream that we make and it just everything gets corrupted by this idea of some sort of motivation. And it's very discouraging, not discouraging, but I think as in society as a whole, the idea of just being no mask, just being your authentic self and living is discouraged. And so I think people want to do that. People want to have that. People want to be able to live that way. But it's discouraging because we're put into boxes. We're put into political boxes. We're put into this versus that. Vegans against meat eaters, in this country, Republicans versus Democrats, shit. I mean, pick your poison. I've seen people almost getting fist fights over toothpaste at the grocery store because they're fluoride, no fluoride. I mean, it's just, and that's kind of the environment we live in, at least here. I've never lived in another country, so at least here I see that.
Mm. Yeah, I like how you say that we're corrupted by these motivations of maybe you should like organic strawberries, or maybe you should like the smaller strawberries, or whatever,
Yeah.
red strawberries. I suppose we're not just talking about strawberries here.
No. But I mean, it's everything like that. And then I think that, like, so my whole, I try to help people with anxiety and OCD, right? And a huge part of anxiety that people just feel in general is this constant pressure to be something, like something, whatever it is. And we're not raised and we're not guided to just be our authentic selves. So people cling on to cling to these identities, like they're in this political party or that political party, or educated or uneducated, or everyone has some kind of a label, some kind of a mask that they walk around in all the time. And then when they decide that they want to live genuinely as themselves, when it throws them into like this existential crisis, because then not only do they have all these anxieties and these worries and all of this stuff that's causing them a lot of suffering, well, now their identity's dissolving, and that puts them into a whole new sphere of pain and suffering, because they've identified as being anxious or identified as having OCD, and they like build their identity around this stuff. And so it's a really difficult thing to get out of. And it's really difficult to get people into the position where they can even see that that happens. Because once you do finally see it, it's like one of those things, like, you can see it and now you can't, that's all you can see, you know? You ever notice something like on your wall, like there's a little crack on your wall and you just noticed it one day? And then every time you look at the wall, you look at that crack. That's what awareness is like. It's like, oh, I see this now. And then you just see every single example over and over and over. It's wild.
I'd like to go back to what you said about identity,
Mhm.
um, because you were saying that there is this anxiety, which yeah, I like that how you put that. There's an anxiety that maybe derives, as you're suggesting, from perhaps a core belief that I shouldn't be. I need to regulate. I need to control who I am.
Mhm. Yeah, I need to be something.
Like, yeah, it's like is a tree anxious that it's growing the wrong way,
Hmm. No, it
or is
just
it just
grows.
treeing?
Hmm. And I think that's the thing that I mean, because I make posts about it and I get questions from people all the time, and they're like, well, what do you mean you just live? And I mean, I just live moment by moment, every little moment. Like if I'm doing this with you, I'm doing this. That's it. And if I'm making a sandwich, I'm making a sandwich. That's it. And all of that stuff, all of that weight of all that other bullshit that weighs you down, it's not there, because it's just moment to moment. And you just, I don't know.
Different way of
I wish there's a way to wrap that up. A lot of these concepts are kind of language fails, a lot of these concepts,
Mm.
because we're not even trained to talk like this. Like we don't even know how to talk like this. So it's hard to articulate some of these ideas because there's no real good language for it.
Yeah, I guess because language is our best, I guess up to now, best
Mm.
way of um communicating our experience of reality. And maybe reality is just too complex.
Maybe it's not complicated, and that's the problem. We think it's complicated. It's really not. You just move in the direction your intuition guides you every minute of every day. One day it might, have you doing a podcast with a fella in Amsterdam, and who knows what the rest of the day will bring. I think that that's the thing. I think that people way, 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 way overcomplicate everything, every single thing. And you honestly, I mean, I've been living this way for 2.5 years now. I don't think about the future. I don't, I just live. And the right people have come to me and the wrong people have fallen away, and the right opportunities have come to me and the wrong opportunities fall away, and I don't look for any of it.
Why?
Why don't I?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, because the future isn't real. So whatever I think, whatever this 2.5 pound lump of fat in my skull thinks the future isn't real. In fact, none of the things that it thinks are real. It's just an organ.
None of the things that it thinks are real?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, can you elaborate?
So there's thinking, right? When you're actively thinking about something, like, I don't know, you're trying to solve a puzzle. You're thinking about the puzzle. That's active thinking. And then there's thoughts. And your brain spits out thoughts, right? All that crap that your brain spits out at you isn't real, and it brings nothing to the party. Nothing. So if you're sitting there and you're like, say you're doing a Rubik's Cube and you're like, okay, I'll move this one. Okay, now I got the reds. And then your brain goes, hey, remember in 5th grade when that kid punched you on the playground? And you're like, dude, I'm doing a puzzle. Fuck off. That's what I'm talking about. But it does it all the time. And so then, like, usually people who are trapped with their thoughts, or they're overly identified with their ego, they go, yeah, that really hurt my feelings. And then this happened, and then that happened, and then I went home, and my mom, she was mean about it, and and that's probably why I'm so depressed. And then next thing you know, the puzzle goes out the door. You're away from the present moment, and then you're spiraling into some kind of freaking bullshit when you could have just said, I'm doing a puzzle. Stop bugging me. And kept doing the puzzle. Like, wouldn't you be much happier? Like, why do you need to think about that? Anyway,
Yeah. But when that
that's how
thought
I
comes,
treat just how I treat my brain. I give it no respect. None. Like if I'm driving or if I'm doing something and then it's like, wonder what our bank account is. And I just go, I don't know. I'm doing this. Leave me alone. I'm sure someone will let us know if we run out of money.
right. Yeah, but okay, so can I be the devil's advocate here?
Yeah, totally.
Great, let's do it. So, okay, it's nice for you to say, Brian, but what if, there is a problem with the money?
You'll find out.
Yeah, but then maybe I find out in a way that, you know, there are consequences and I could prevent
Mhm.
it. I think of it now.
Well, I'm not saying,
Wait, I'll be right back. Devil's advocate.
you
Okay.
get put a hat on. Okay.
All right. So, yeah. So, what if I find out in a way where there are consequences and I don't like it? Surely, if I think of it now, I could work to figure out if I can, solve the problem ahead of time.
Well, that's great. I'm not talking about like being a dumbass. Like you still have to operate in the confines of our reality. You still need to know how much money you have. What I'm saying is that if you're doing something else, you don't need to check your bank account. You don't need to stop what you're doing to check your bank account to appease your ego, who is suddenly curious. But if you got to pay your bills and you make a certain amount of money, of course, you're going to have a budget and, work within the confines of our reality. But it's interesting that you bring up a problem. So say you have a problem with money or you have a problem and you need to figure it out. Do that thing. Do the thing that you need to solve. Make a decision, stick to it, and let it go.
Okay, so you're saying I shouldn't just think, right? You're saying basically I should be concrete and I should not just, uh, yeah,
Be all
just
wishy-washy.
wishy-washy. Yeah. So instead of
Mm.
wishy-washy, you're saying like get a pen and paper or something like that and like literally be like, I'm gonna solve this
Yeah,
problem.
this is okay. I have a problem. I need to do this thing. I'm going to be short money next month. Okay. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this thing, this thing, this thing, and this thing. And okay, problem solved. Now, what a lot of people do, and what I used to do, and what caused me hours and hours and hours of suffering was I would analyze and analyze and analyze. And then it would always come down to a split second decision anyway. No matter how much I really, I had to think of these crazy examples, but these are the things that people really suffer over, like their refrigerator breaks. And a normal person, right? And I shouldn't have said normal. That's a stupid thing to say. Um, but a person who isn't inclined towards anxiety and OCD would just get online, go somewhere. Well, that's a good refrigerator. They would buy it. But a person with that's inclined with OCD or
Wait,
anxiety.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm so sorry. But since you
Yeah.
said the word normal, I was like, we need to explore this. So can we put a
That yeah, that was
parenthesis?
a dreaded slip of the tongue. I shouldn't have said that.
No, but I think it's great that it happened, because I think you pointed to something that was really important, which is you said that it's a stupid word, normal.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you say that it's a stupid word, Brian?
Oh, because it's not real. Remember when I was talking earlier about how language fails us?
Mhm.
What I meant to say was people who do not have an inclination towards anxiety or OCD or whatever. And when we say normal, it's a judgment. We say that these five people here are normal. And anything in any way that someone operates that's differently than these five people, they're not normal. They're bad. That's bad. You want to be like these five people. These are good five people, right? They're the right color. They're the right, you know, sexual preference. They're the right. This is all the right thing. They don't overthink. They're perfect. And so that's when language fails. Because what I wanted to say was if you're so inclined to have these kinds of things where you overthink or you um, feel anxious about stuff, it doesn't mean you're not normal. It doesn't mean that you're not good. It's not a judgment against you. It's just you operate in a way that may be different than the guy sitting next to you on the bus. It doesn't make either one of you better or worse. It just makes you different. So that's why I don't like the word normal.
And maybe you're also not so different to that guy on the bus than you think. And
Yeah,
if you're walking around thinking, "Oh, I have anxiety, I overthink, I'm not normal," on top of it,
right.
you're adding that instead of just saying, I'm a human who experiences anxiety. How fucking abnormal of me.
Yeah,
I'm a human who overthinks sometimes. Or how fucking abnormal of me.
yeah,
What, like, there must only be like 6 humans out there who have
yeah.
anxiety and who overthink.
Hmm.
I'm one of the abnormal people on top of it. I
Well,
think.
that's interesting too, because then what does that immediately do? It immediately isolates you, makes you feel like it's isolating. So you think I experience this, no one else experiences this. There must be something wrong with me. And a lot of people don't I a lot of people don't appreciate how much people lie. Like people lie a lot. They carry this mask and they will wear that mask and they carry it and they present everything exactly the way they want to present it to the world. And they might be a complete mess, but they'll say it's fine. That's why, this whole idea of abnormal and normal is such a dangerous slope because, you might be comparing yourself to someone that's a bigger wreck than you are. They just play the game better and they just wear their mask better than you. So, now never compare yourself to anybody else ever, man. That's a road to misery right there. I'm vaping like a champ. I talk all this shit about all this spiritual stuff and all this stuff, but I'm like desperately addicted to nicotine. Can't figure it out.
Hmm.
Stop trying.
Well, in how, maybe a weird question here, but in what way is nicotine spiritual?
Oh, it's not.
Okay.
Not at all. There's something about the meat puppet that I run around in on Earth here. Loves that nicotine, man. Loves it. And I'll just indulge it. So I gave up that battle. There's no point in that battle.
Fair. I mean, I'm in no way promoting nicotine here. I'm
No,
just
no, not either. I just don't care. I drink diet pop. I use nicotine. I eat not a great diet.
fuck it.
Whatever. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I know people that sleep on the hardwood floor just on top of a blanket because they think that the suffering does something good for them. And I'm just like, well, why?
Hmm. That's another thing that I think would be good for us to. We all have our vices,
Yeah.
but on Instagram, I don't see it too often for people to post a story and be like, chilling with my vices. This is how I cope. These are the unhealthy things that I do. How many people do that?
Well, it's the same thing.
But they do show,
So
look how happy.
it's the same thing as normal.
Right.
It's the same judgment. It's the same mechanism of control. So now I'm doing something unhealthy. Now I have to feel bad about myself. Now I have to get into a camp. Am I healthy or unhealthy? Now I have to do all of this stuff that's all external to my human experience. But then I'm putting an expectation that it's going to make me happy because Because why? Because I eat fucking, less salt than you.
Right. And then maybe someone values it. Yeah. Maybe someone is like, there's someone out there who's like, I do not smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke nicotine. That's bad for you. But then maybe there's a sneaky way. Maybe not sneaky. Maybe they smoke a lot of weed or something, and they're like, well, I don't do
Mhm.
cigarettes. Wait, actually, fuck. I'm gonna just shut this real
Yeah,
quick.
you look like an
Sorry
angel
for
right
interrupting,
now. I thought I was
but
having an out-of-body experience talking to you right now.
yeah, comparison, the illusion that we have on social media, and not just social media, but as you were saying, the mask.
The mask is heavier, and it gets heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. And you don't even need it. You don't
I think
even
that's
need
a
it.
I think that's a good segue to something I wanted to ask you, which was you say in your videos, I ended 45 years of anxiety and suffering. I'm curious to hear what.
Oh, I ended 45 years of suffering from anxiety and
Yeah,
OCD.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. That's an important
Yeah,
distinction. Yeah,
I probably still have it. I just don't suffer from it.
yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear what your experience was like when you were still suffering.
To give you the quick and dirty, so when I was a kid, had kind of a bad stepfather, and I was about 7 years old. He beat me one time, just once, but it was pretty bad. And well, it was the worst one, we'll say. There was more after, but that was the worst one. And that's what turned that anxiety on. And I was always trying to control my reactions, control their moods, control this, control that, control this, and it just built and built and built, and that's when it really started. Um, and I was able to figure that out in meditation, that was the moment. That's when it turned on. And and I lived my life. I was a single parent for years and years and years. I have 4 kids. And their mother unfortunately died about 17 or 18 years ago, I think now, almost 20. And so there was always money, it was always this, it was always that. It was just a really volatile time. My marriage was all kind of screwed up. Um, their mother, like it was awful marriage. I mean, just every single thing, every cliche thing that you can imagine associated with someone's life where everything's like going wrong and everything struggles and struggles and struggles. Um, and and then things get better. Things get better. You get better jobs. Just life evolves and it gets better. And even though my life was getting easier and better, the anxiety and the OCD part of it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And so it all kind of culminated, um, I don't know, about 2.5 years ago. And I was, I was I didn't want to live anymore. And I was probably about 75 pounds heavier than I am right now. And I didn't want to, you know, because I wanted to make sure that my life insurance paid. So I would intentionally try to induce a heart attack. So I thought, well, I'm fat and I was 50, early 50s. And I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll walk really hard. I won't drink water. I'll try to get dehydrated. I'll walk really super hard. It'll make me have a heart attack. This is what my thought was. And then no one will know. No one will know that that's how I ended it. And it'll be a tragedy, but everything will be fine. And so I started doing that. And I'd go out and I would walk every single day and I would push and climb hills, do all this stuff. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And so, I mean, like pure fight or flight. And the only thing I can kind of liken it to is, have you ever been in a car and almost gotten in an accident and felt like that rush of adrenaline and that rush of cortisol, like really just fear? Well, I felt like that for like over a year straight, just on that level of fear, shaking. And I had gotten to a point where, I didn't go out anymore. I would work and come home, work and come home. And then COVID happened and I was working from home, and then that isolation grew there. And then it, I got to a point where I didn't leave my house, started getting my groceries delivered. And then my house became too big. So then I just would stay in my room. So then I would stay in my room and I'd have to psych myself up to like come downstairs to make food, or, and if I had to go somewhere, I had to like really psych myself up to go. And then it got to my bed. Like if I wasn't in my bed, then I didn't feel okay. And then when my bed didn't work anymore, I was like, this is fucked. I can't live anymore. So that's when all that stuff with the walking and the trying to die thing happened. And so, and then one day, um, and I was always trying to find something to do, some way to fix this problem, and I just happened to read, try meditation. And so I found meditation. I started meditating and it wasn't better. It wasn't better. It wasn't better. And then I was like, fuck, man, I'm so screwed. And I remember, and it's on my TikTok, the video when this happened. It's kind of weird. I ended up recording it. It was the most pivotal moment of my whole life. And I was walking and I said, all right, fuck it, anxiety, you win. I'm done. I'm fucking done. If you kill me, you kill me. Great. I don't care anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. And I just gave up completely. And I remember I went back to my room. I got into, I started meditating and stuff. And I just saw it. And I just saw that, oh man, these feelings, it's not me. This isn't coming from me. I'm the thing that's looking at this thing. I'm the thing that's feeling these feelings. I'm not these feelings. And these thoughts, I don't ask for these thoughts. I don't generate these thoughts. I'm the one that sees them, or I'm the one that can hear them, or whatever. And it was just a light bulb. And I just went, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. And this huge weight came off. And that was it. And it got progressively and progressively better. And, it was painful for a time because, you have this awareness, but then you have to wait for your brain to build the new neural pathways. You have to wait for your body to catch up, your nervous system to catch up. But that was like the first like true glimmer of hope that I ever had in the whole process, was just, oh wait, I don't have to do this. And then that was it.
Something you said was that soon after or right after, you gave up, as you put it, you gave up the
Yeah.
fight,
Yeah.
gave up fighting anxiety.
Hmm.
You said that you had the realization that you're not the anxiety. It is that those aren't the exact words, but
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
is
That is the exact words. Yeah.
right. So you realize you're not the anxiety, you're not the feelings, you're the one who observes those feelings.
Hmm.
What? Why would you say that you you had that realization right after stopping the fight with anxiety?
I think that that's just when it happened. I just think it was a little bit of maybe a little push, just a little guidance from the universe or something.
Hmm.
Because that whole time, the whole time I was suffering, I owned it. Like it was like, this is me. This is my identity, right? This is how I am. This is me. This is people don't change. Nothing ever changes, you know. And thankfully, that just that little bit of understanding shifted everything. And I'm not saying, you know, I didn't just get up and run outside and, you know, dance through the flowers and everything was okay. It sucked. That's when the work began. And the time, like the 6 or 7 months from that moment till I actually finally felt better, like I felt better, it was a long process and it was painful and it was dark and it was awful. But
They say the fear that what's that quote? The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek.
yeah, and I'll tell you what the where the cave is. It's inside. So you have to go inside. And that's a scary place. And there's a lot to it. I mean, you have to learn to love and accept a lot of things about yourself. You have to let go of beliefs that you have, like these lies and these stories that your mind spins and all of this stuff. And it's just like anything else though. Once you kind of get there and once you kind of start seeing it, you're like, "Oh, and I went down this whole spiritual awakening thing and this enlightenment kick and all of this stuff, you know? And then you're like, wow, these are all constructs. These are all thoughts. This is all just thought. And I don't need to do any of it. And your feelings, like an anxiety feeling, it's no different than any other feeling. It's just a feeling. If happy is a feeling, sad is a feeling. And I even liken it to like having to go pee. It's a feeling.
Mm.
But we make it way more important than it needs to be. We put all of this pressure on it. We think it's a problem because we've been taught that it's a problem. We weren't taught that it's just a feeling, it'll pass, just like all the other feelings you have. It's fine. It can be there. It's safe. It's not going to hurt you.
Can I be the devil's advocate? Shall I?
Yeah.
So, okay.
You're not going to be any meaner to me than the people that comment on all my videos. So you just,
You get some mean people.
no, not mean people, just people that say I'm full of shit and stuff. It's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I think it's hard to um I think it's hard. Oh wait. I think it's hard.
No, do it. Go for it.
I'm not the devil's advocate yet. So
Mm.
I just wanted to add to what you said that yeah, I think it's hard to put yourself out there and not if you're truly putting yourself out there, it's hard to not trigger people.
Oh, yeah. When you live authentically, it triggers people because they want to do it. They want to not care. They want to not. I mean, you've probably seen a few of my videos or my posts or whatever, and some of them are cringy as shit, man.
Well, let's get into that. Let's get into that. Cringy. What does that mean?
Cringy?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, I don't know. Kids say it now.
no, no, I know.
Embarrassing. Like when you know, you're not applying your mask correctly,
Ah,
so it makes other people uncomfortable.
that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think you put it beautifully. Cringy is when you're not putting on your mask.
The a way
Yeah.
someone else likes it, or the way society likes it.
Right.
Yeah, because
But what?
society likes everything in neat little bows and boxes. Little boxes with little bows, and you act like this, and you say these things, and you don't do it. You know.
But really, yeah, I was just thinking the our true self, I would say, is, if we're gonna use that word, hella cringy.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, if I'm speaking from my experience, from me, right?
Hmm.
My true self is not a fucking box.
Yeah.
So if I'm expressing my true self, then people are gonna think it's cringy. Some people.
Oh yeah, definitely. Or are they gonna think you're weird, or they're gonna think you're crazy? You know. And the thing about it is that the more, you know, I keep going back to awareness because you have to be aware. Like you have to know about it. You have to know this stuff, right? And the more awareness I get, this is a natural state of being. You ever like, you ever see a dog? Like you're around dogs, everyone's around dogs. Dogs don't think about dinner. If they're playing fetch, they are playing fetch. If you're scratching their belly, they are laying there and they are getting belly scratches and they are loving every minute of it. They don't think about what happened before. They don't think about you yelling at them for peeing on the rug. They're just getting their belly scratched. That is the natural state of being. That's it.
Did you say the natural state of being?
That is the natural state of being.
Not just for
And
dogs.
and you'll find out that if you go down this road, you'll find out that every single thing that bothers you and every single thing that like, it's all your fault because you make a choice to have something bother you. It's all you. And that's what I think when people talk about the power of surrender, that's the power. The ultimate power is to have all this shit going on around you and you're unbothered. And you're just sitting there, you know, scratching your hand going, wow, that feels really good. That's the ultimate power.